And welcome
to another Justice video.
This week we're going to be talking about something we haven't talked about in a long time.
Yeah,
and that's Harry Potter.
Yeah, and although I'm not the biggest fan of J.K. Rowling right now, I still love the franchise and like the world of Harry Potter and Hogwarts, so it's kind of hard to stay away from it.
Yeah, I totally agree. J.K. Rowling's stupid comments doesn't reflect what we believe in here on the channel. We're just here today to be nerds about witches and wizards and theorize about the cool stuff that this world might have to offer soon. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about Harry Potter and the fact that they might be making a new Harry Potter show.
What is it, HBO Max?
Yeah, it looks like it would be on HBO Max because I believe HBO has Warner Brothers and Warner Brothers has Harry Potter, so I believe that's how it's all working out. And to be real, like, there isn't much that has been released at all. Like, there's nothing for sure. There's really nothing to go on. We just know that there's people talking about the possibility of a Harry Potter show on HBO.
It seems like they're doing like the interviews right now for like writers and stuff like that. That's sort of the vibe it seems to be.
But we thought this would be a great opportunity to just kind of go rogue with a couple theories and talk about what we would hope to see in a show like this. So first, let's talk about what directions this show could go in. Like, what stories could we see?
Honestly, I feel like we're not gonna see any stories like starring Harry, Ron, Hermione, anything like that.
You think we're done with the trio for now?
I think we are. You know, it's sort of like how with Fantastic Beasts, you know, it's the age before. Like, it's still a lot of stuff that leads in and has meaning to like the age of Harry Potter himself, but it's more just expanding the universe. One direction I can sort of see this going is something I've seen fans screaming about for years, is they want to see stuff set in the time of Harry's dad. What is his group called?
The Marauders.
The Marauders. Yeah, they want stuff about the Marauders at Hogwarts and the stuff they got up to.
Honestly, that's something I've been thinking a lot about too, is I would love to see the Marauders as well. I think it would be really cool to see even the time after that, when his dad is a part of the original order with Dumbledore and the original Order of the Phoenix with Sirius, with the Longbottoms, you know, all those cool characters. There would definitely be a lot to touch on there.
Yeah, there'd be a whole lot. You gotta see the whole arc of Snape going evil, then not evil, you know, his whole thing. Like, I love Snape. He's great.
Yeah, and James kind of being an arrogant asshole to Snape, and Snape being in love with Lily.
Yeah, because I always thought Snape's story was, like, once you get to actually see his story near the end there, you're like, oh my god, he is such a great character. I think he's the best example of a Slytherin, honestly.
Yeah, I like that you said that. He's a really good example of a Slytherin.
And sometimes they go in the wrong direction a little bit, but, you know, sometimes they find their way back.
I think they pull from something in the Star Wars universe that I agree with. You can't go too far in the dark side and too far on the light side. You gotta find a happy medium, something in between.
Also, like the video game coming out soon, too. Because Hogwarts Legacy also, didn't they already sort of confirm it's gonna be set in, like, earlier Hogwarts, like 1800s almost or something? And so I feel like another interesting route they could maybe take is if they do something closer to that, so that they could sort of piggyback off of each other, you know, so that those two can be a bit more connected. Maybe, like, you know, the video game comes out and we're introduced to characters, you know, and we're sort of like, okay, who are they? And then we get the show coming out, you're like, oh wait, I know them!
That's really fun. They could put a lot of Easter eggs in each other for that. It reminds me too of, in a similar way that Star Wars does with their video games. The video games are canon in some ways. That's actually really sick. That'd be really cool. So what I've been thinking about this series is a little bit different. Originally, I was thinking the same thing as you, that they wouldn't want to retouch with the trio again and all the stories that we all already know. And I was like, they have so many cool things to do with the Marauders, the Order. They could even go back to the Founders. Like, they could do a lot of stuff. They could really grow this universe, is what I was thinking. But then I thought about two. One, it's been a long time since the books came out already. And two, it's gonna be a long time before this show comes out. So then I was like, you know what? Maybe a reboot of this series wouldn't be too bad. Because I'm thinking, what if they're actually trying to create a new generation of Harry Potter fans? And to do that, they need to understand the root story that we all came to know and love. And, you know, if they're not gonna read the books, and they don't want to watch some old movies
that aren't even fully faithful to the books, you know, so it could be, if it goes that route too, then it gives them opportunity to, like, a lot of the stuff like with Malfoy in the books actually like wasn't in the movies. Stuff with a lot of characters, like there was a lot of moments in the books that just didn't happen in the movies, or they changed for the movies. So it'd give them an opportunity, I feel like, to go back and sort of be more faithful, or maybe even change things that didn't go right.
Exactly. But see, it still led me to think that I still want to see all that other stuff. Like, yeah. I still want them to go deeper on the Marauders and this and that. So I was like, wouldn't it be cool then if they did this series, but we got like flashback episodes? Like, imagine we got a Marauders episode where, yes, we're following the Golden Trio, but the episode that we learn about the Marauders is actually like a full episode of his dad and Lupin and Sirius when they were all young doing their thing. And then maybe even later on we get a flashback episode of the Founders. Like, I think that's how deep they could go into this. It wouldn't just be like following the trio every episode. Like, I feel like that would be the main thing, but then they could go off on so many side stories as well.
Yeah, dude, that could be cool. I could see that. You know, if they use it as an opportunity to go back and sort of like fix things they did wrong, then what if they touch more into the future, you know, try to make a less cursed child, you know, something maybe not actually that story, but like, okay, we're gonna give you something that's actually good about Harry Potter's kids.
I was thinking about it too, because like, if they did a show that was like in the future, honestly, it would kind of get exhausting to see the world of wands mixed with the world of cell phones. But that's what I was thinking if they went that far.
I feel like it would be almost interesting.
Because I want to get lost. I want to be in a world where I don't have to worry about my phone, where I don't have to worry about technology in that way, that it's all about magic.
I don't know if the wizards would necessarily have that, though.
You don't think they would? Like, they'd be kind of like Amish about it? Like,
they'd be like, they're basically wands.
Yeah, but what about social media? I can't imagine all those teens wanting to miss out on social media, not to mention video games.
I don't know, though, because just seeing, you know, in the books and in the movies and stuff, especially like with Arthur Weasley's character, the disconnect between wizards and muggles is like kind of astounding.
So then maybe there's the story.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what the story is like the new generation, if they did this in the future, like the new generation of wizards are kind of like curious about the muggle world. Like, wait, why can't we incorporate both of these worlds? Why can't we, like...
Why do we have to stay separated? That could be really interesting.
Exactly, you know? Maybe that's like the new progressive generation of wizards.
That'd be amazing. You know what? There is something that, you know, is still really up in the air. Is this going to be live action, animated? What is it going to actually be? They're just talking about, they've been talking to writers. That's the only thing they've talked about. So they might not even know that yet. They might be waiting for the golden pitch sort of deal.
I wouldn't hate it if it was animated.
Oh, me neither. I almost feel like it'd be a little bit easier to do whatever they wanted to do.
Oh yeah, just thinking about like Star Wars with the Clone Wars, and thinking about shows like Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then even that new one, Dragon Prince. Animation can do some great stuff with stories, and they can go further in directions that's harder to do with real actors and a real set. But I do have to say, there is a part of me that would be kind of excited to see the Harry Potter world with today's CGI, and maybe dressing things up a little bit closer to the books. I mean, this isn't the direction where I was going, but just off the top of my head too, can we please get the Ravenclaw colors correct? And can we please get their symbol correct? It's not a raven, it's an eagle, okay?
And can we get some non-evil Slytherins? Because any Slytherin that's not evil is at least still an asshole. You know, that's not as fun.
I feel like the Slytherin community has become very strong since the books and the movies came out, and I feel like they can't ignore that giant fan base, and they can't just paint them all as assholes in this new one.
Yeah.
Maybe Hufflepuff will get a little bit more respect this time around too.
Yeah. And I feel like with the whole visual effects stuff too, I mean, it's coming from HBO, and they did Game of Thrones. And for the most part, from what I've seen of Game of Thrones visual effects, like, they're pretty good.
Oh yeah, visually that show was on point.
So like, I would be able to trust them to pull that off, I think, if they went live action. I feel like you could trust their effects skills.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, let us know down in the comments below what you would love to see with this show. Let us know if you think it's going to be about something in the past, something in the future, the Marauders, maybe the original Order. If you think they're going to retell the original story and maybe try to get a new generation of Harry Potter fans. But I'm really looking forward to it, and I can't wait to hear more news about it and maybe eventually one day get a trailer.
Yeah. And on that note, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at JustisBand.
I hope everyone out there has an excellent week, and until next time,
Catch you on the flip.